Happy October.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is October.
Yes. Well, I mean, we're in the last hours of September.
Yes,
But
this will come out in October.
yes, it will. I feel like we just said Happy September.
I know. It was a pretty quick month.
It was a quick month. Well, anything new with you that I don't already know?
Not really, although today there were some kids talking, and it's not even a very interesting story, I just thought it was funny, but there were some kids talking in one of the earlier classes, and I don't know if he wanted to get, like, his car wrapped, you know, how they do, like, that vinyl wrapping, or if he was trying to wrap something else, but he was telling this one kid that he needed to find somebody who could do this wrapping, and the kid was like, I could do it. And he was like, yeah, he's all, I'm pretty good at putting stickers on Legos.
Well, I mean, that's all it takes.
That's all the credentials that it takes to wrap vinyl around something professionally, is being good at putting stickers on Legos.
I would have to say that as much as I love to do Legos, I am not good at putting stickers on Legos.
Yeah.
So I would not trust myself to wrap a car.
No.
But good to know that's the only skill it takes.
If you're proficient at putting stickers on Legos, then
great.
You've got a career for life.
Yeah. Well, I guess I must follow the Galveston Island Facebook or Instagram or something. I don't know what I saw it on. And there was a post that was talking about like upcoming things, you know, like Oktoberfest and all these things. Well, apparently, because you know how it's the Gulf Coast, right? Well, they have a festival called the Ghost Coast Festival.
Ooh.
I know. And they do, like, haunted tours, and then, like, they do, like, a haunted harbor tour. And I think those are things you could do all the time, but they also have, like, this witches market and stuff that they put together. And so I was like, drop everything.
Gotta go.
We gotta go. But, yeah, I thought that might be cool.
Yeah.
Someday. Not this day, because we have to buy a new water heater, probably.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you ready?
I suppose so. Everybody already knows that we're not interesting people.
I don't know about you. I am so interesting, so... I am an almond mom.
Yes. You are the most granola person that I've ever met.
I was like, wow, guys. You were totally wrong.
You're not even kind of close in your assumptions.
I don't ever make healthy choices.
No.
At all.
We don't even look like healthy people.
Even the times when I'm like, I'm going to make good choices, and I take, like, vegetable soup to school, I get mad, and I DoorDash a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Like, I never make healthy choices.
No. Like I said, we don't even look like healthy people. Like, where would they get this from?
I don't know. Teenagers are weird. Context. My teenagers told me that I was probably an almond mom, and when I asked what an almond mom was, they said it's a person who makes all the healthiest choices. Yeah. But, like, chooses, like, to eat honey nut Cheerios. Not honey nut Cheerios. No. More like whole grain Cheerios or, like, Raisin Bran.
Yeah.
Over
the good stuff.
Like, the good stuff. Absolutely not. Count Chocolate, Apple Jacks
all the way. Give me a box of crunchy sugar.
Right. Crazy people.
Steeped in cow's milk.
Right.
Not almond milk.
Okay, so you know how you watch movies where... No, you don't know how you watch movies. But, I haven't quite figured that one out yet. No, but you know, like, you watch them and they're in high school and they're reading all of these classic books like Pride and Prejudice and Wuthering Heights and stuff like that.
Or a very comically large copy of The Bell Jar.
Yeah, we didn't. Right? Like, I don't know about you, but, like, we didn't.
We read The Great Gatsby.
I didn't even read that. I didn't read that until, like, 2 years ago.
And we read... I think we read To Kill a Mockingbird.
I don't even think we read that. I think I read that on my own.
And we read Of Mice and Men.
I did not read that. See, you apparently had better English teachers than I did.
I guess.
But I think I read The Crucible like 3 times.
Yeah, I read The Crucible.
And Romeo and Juliet.
I think we read some Shakespeare in, like, the 9th grade.
And, like, yeah, that was the 9th grade because it was Mrs. Gunderson.
Yeah.
And she made us learn, like, 100 lines of it or something to recite back.
Yeah.
I think that was the only Shakespeare I can remember reading.
Yeah.
We read The Count of Monte Cristo, which I will never forgive Mr. Worley for.
I don't think we read that one.
But I can't remember reading any other novels. I think maybe in the 9th grade we also read the one with the hot air balloon.
Around the World in 80 Days.
Yeah, I think we read that, and it was really boring, and so I don't really remember it.
And like in elementary school, we read Old Yeller.
I promise this is going somewhere. But, like, when I got out of high school, I felt left out.
Okay.
And so I went to the library, and I read my way through, like, all of the classics. I read all of Jane Austen's books, and all of the Bronte sisters' books, and Vonnegut, and all of these things, because I was like, I didn't read any of these things. I don't, I felt left out. And you probably can't really relate to that, because you hate to read, unless it's Harry Potter, or lesbian mermaids.
I mean... only the classics.
Only the classics. And I don't know, it's silly, but this case is kind of like that for me. It was like the whole world was following it, but it was like at a time when I really wasn't following things, and so it's like I knew like basic information kind of stuff, like everybody knows this kind of stuff, but I never really delved into it deeper.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I had a significant development in the last couple of years. So, this is the case of Natalee Holloway.
Okay.
So, and this year actually marks the 20th anniversary of her disappearance.
Yeah.
Which it does not feel like it's been
No,
that
it doesn't
long.
feel like it's been 20 years. But I was thinking that about something else earlier. I can't remember what it was. Oh, because The Simpsons are having a second movie.
Did they have a first movie?
Yeah, they did. There was the Simpsons movie in 2007.
It took all the way till 2007 till they had a first movie?
Yeah. And
that I didn't even know about.
Yeah. You're like...
what?
But, apparently, I guess, like, in the movie, they say that it won't take 20 years before they make a second movie. And now, 20 years later, in 2027, they're making the second movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
I was just like, it does not feel like it's been 20 years since I saw, like, promos and stuff for the first Simpsons movie. Like, that doesn't feel like it's been 20 years ago.
Yeah, man. I never watched The Simpsons.
I didn't really either.
The Simpsons video game on the Nintendo slapped, though.
Yeah, that was
a good time.
Good stuff. I liked the skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. But I was never a big Simpsons cartoon watcher.
I mostly remember, I can't remember which one of our parents didn't let us watch it. Like, was anti The Simpsons.
Our mother.
Was it? Yeah. And then, but it was funny because, like, she was okay with Beavis and Butthead. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway. So,
to my recollection, it was our mother.
It probably was. So anyway, I listened to a few podcasts to prepare for this. Morbid and Killer Queens and Red Handed and 48 Hours. I watched a series that was produced by Oxygen called The Disappearance of Natalee Holloway that followed Natalee's father, Dave, as he was following up on a lead about what happened to her. We'll talk about that a little more later. I watched another show called Impact by Nightline that had a case over this. And the podcast girls from Killer Queens were actually in that one. And then a documentary on Peacock called Pathological, The Lies of Joran Sloot.
Mm-hmm.
And biography.com has a really good timeline that I used to kind of keep me structured as I was working through this. So, trigger warnings. The story does mention sexual assault, teenage drinking and drug use, date rape, drugs, human trafficking, and graphic descriptions of murder and desecration of corpse. So,
all the classics.
All the classics. So here we go. Natalee Ann Holloway was born on October 21st, 1986. So she's your age.
Yeah.
In Memphis, Tennessee. And she was the oldest of 2 children for Dave and Beth Holloway. They had a son named Matt, who was 2 years younger than Natalee. In 1993, the couple divorced, but they all ended up in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they moved there prior to the divorce, but an article in People.com about the 20th year anniversary mentions that Dave remarried to a woman named Robin in 1995, and they moved to Meridian, Mississippi, and Wikipedia mentions that Beth was raising Natalee and Matt in Clinton, Mississippi. In 2000, Beth married a prominent businessman named George Twitty, who went by Jug. It's like the most Mississippi name ever.
I mean, I often ask people to call me Jug.
And they moved to Mountain Brook, Alabama, which is a wealthy suburb of Birmingham. And this put them about 2 hours away from their dad, but they did the every other weekend visitation thing. But Dave does say in the People.com article that during Natalee's senior year of high school, she was unable to visit as frequently because she was involved in extracurricular activities that kept her busy, including being on the high school dance team. And so Dave and Robin would make their way to Mountain Brook to watch her dance or attend her other school activities. And by all accounts, the parents seemed to get along.
Yeah.
Natalee was also a straight A student who had earned a full ride academic scholarship to the University of Alabama, where she planned to major in pre-med. Her friends described her as being fun-loving and outgoing and kind. She was... The lizard got me. She was a natural leader, but she was also silly, and their nickname for her was Hootie.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the other nickname that I know.
It doesn't really... Like, hers was Natalee Holloway.
Yeah.
So it kind of... alliteration, you know. Natalee graduated from Mountain Brook High School in May of 2005. 124 of the seniors who graduated had planned a graduation trip to Aruba. And now, again, from watching teen dramas, apparently seniors go on these large group graduation trips. We did not.
No.
This was not something that our school did, at least not to my knowledge, unless I was just real left out.
I don't remember, but I also was not really a part of anything in high school.
I think I had enough friends that were part of things that I would have known probably if that was a thing, but it was not. And this wasn't a school sponsored trip because it was after graduation. It was just something that the kids and parents had organized. But there were 7 chaperones on the trip. And a lot of people are really judgy about this trip and the small amount of chaperones. But as many a podcaster has pointed out, these are 18-year-old high school graduates. And, like, their parents could have told them they wouldn't pay for it. But they also couldn't have told them they couldn't go because technically they are adults. Beth said that she didn't really have any concerns about Natalee going on this trip because this was an annual thing that kids from this high school did. And Jug's son had even been on this trip a couple of years prior. Dave, her dad, I think it was maybe in the Oxygen series, said that he happily gave Natalee half the money that she needed to go. But if he had known that the legal drinking age in Aruba was 18, he may have had more cause for concern or just simply not agreed to the trip.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't school sponsored. The chaperones weren't there to guide them on educational outings or keep an eye on what they were doing all the time. They were just kind of there in case of emergency or if the kids needed anything. They were kind of like a home base. On Thursday, May 26th, the group arrived on the island and checked into the Holiday Inn, which was on the northern end of the island. I looked up some facts about Aruba because aside from this case and the Beach Boys song, I didn't know anything about Aruba. I didn't even know where it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew probably Caribbean, but not really.
In the ocean.
Somewhere out there.
In an ocean.
Yes.
Maybe a sea.
Perhaps. In a gulf. I don't know. So,
water.
Aruba is a small island owned by the Kingdom of the Netherlands, which, fun fact, apparently the Netherlands is a kingdom. It is about 75 square miles, just for you and me. Galveston is 66 square miles to kind of give you a frame of reference. So it's not really that big.
Yeah.
It is about 18 miles north of Venezuela. So it's pretty far down there. At least, because I feel like South America is really far away. But I guess maybe It could be
farther. I don't really know how far away it is.
Well, I did look that up as well. And so from Birmingham, Alabama to Aruba, it's 3,000 miles. So it's like, what, like, is that like the United States? Is that 3,000 miles? It's probably bigger than that. I probably sound real stupid right now.
Geography is not our strong suit.
I won the geography beat in 6th grade, actually. 7th grade. One of those grades.
This is the king of the Netherlands.
Oh. He doesn't look very kingy.
Where's his crown? Is Willem Alexander.
Oh, okay.
And he is 58 years old. And he is the king of the Netherlands. And his wife is Queen Maxima.
As all queens should be. Okay.
So.
They are not wearing crowns.
No.
How are we supposed to know that they're kings and queens?
And, like, robes, like velvet robes or whatever.
Right? Purple velvet robes. Yeah.
With, like, embarrassing fur collars. Where's their scepters? Where's their thrones?
I know. If you're going to take an official picture and you
should be sitting at a throne with your crown and your scepter.
I know.
And your cape.
Ridiculous. Okay, so anyway, they're 3,000 miles away. Let's see. So this trip was going to be kind of a short trip, just like a long weekend trip. Mm-hmm. They were scheduled to fly home on Monday, May the 30th. And remember, these are kids who literally just graduated from high school a few days ago. Mm-hmm. So this was a big party for them. And, of course, they were drinking and they were partying because they were away from their parents for the first time, and it was legal on this island.
Yes.
Beth, at the time, swore that Natalee had never drank or done drugs or done any adult things. I don't know if this is true or not because, of course, she probably would not have shared those things with her mother.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, the kids today would.
That's what I'm saying. That's the stories I hear.
But in 2005, maybe not so much.
Maybe.
I lost my place. But it was reported that on this trip, she was drinking pretty heavily. Mm-hmm. And I'm not here to victim shame or judge her for this. I'm just reporting it because it's fact and it comes up several times throughout the story. Mm-hmm. So in a Vanity Fair article that was published in 2006, Aruban Police Commissioner Gerald Dompig, who headed the investigation from mid-2005 until 2006, stated that the Mountain Brook students engaged in, quote, wild partying, a lot of drinking, lots of room switching every night. We know the Holiday Inn told them that they weren't welcome next year. Natalee, we know she drank all day, every day. We have statements she started every morning with cocktails. So much drinking that Natalee didn't show up for breakfast 2 mornings. So 2 of Holloway's classmates, Liz Kane and Claire Fearman, agreed that the drinking on the trip was kind of excessive.
Just kind of.
Just a little bit. Now, whether she drank before this trip or not, again, Natalee had been a straight A student and busy with extracurriculars, and this could have been her time to just kind of be wild and let loose before starting college. So, on Monday, May 30th, the group meets in the lobby of the Holiday Inn to head back to the airport to go home, and they realize that Natalee is not there. Her passport, luggage, everything is still in her room, but she's nowhere to be found. About 11 a.m., Jody Bierman, one of the chaperones, called Beth, Natalee's mother, and at the time, Beth and a couple of friends had gone on a girls' trip to Hot Springs, Arkansas for the weekend, and were on their way back when the call came through. Jody informed Beth that Natalee had not shown up with the rest of the group, and Beth immediately knew something was wrong. They were like, I mean, she could just be somewhere and just be running late, and Beth said, Natalee has never been late in her life. And so she called 911 and she told the dispatcher, I just got a call that my daughter's missing in Aruba. I'm driving 110 miles straight through Mississippi and I'm not stopping for anybody.
Yeah.
So she calls the FBI and then she called Jug and said she needed to get to Aruba, and they were friendly. A family friend arranged for a private jet to be waiting.
A friendly family friend.
Yes. So a private jet was waiting for her to take her to Aruba when she got home.
This is a very stark comparison to someone like, say, Bryce Lost Pizza's mother. I always say pizza on accident. Bryce Lost Pizza's mother.
I bet when he was in elementary school, everybody said that.
It just, my tongue, like, gets stuck when I go to say his name and I say pizza.
Yeah, who was just kind of like, meh. He'll show up.
Like, check on him, but I'm not gonna make any effort to go help my son.
Yeah. I haven't got brave enough to rage about that one yet.
No.
So anyway, she's driving straight through 110 miles an hour, private jets waiting to take her. As the original group was flying into Alabama, Beth's flight, which included Jug and a couple of friends, was arriving in Aruba. She got there at about 10 p.m. They went straight to the hotel where Natalee had been staying, and one of the chaperones, a teacher named Paul Lilly, had stayed behind to wait for the family and be there in case Natalee showed up at the hotel. He was there when the Twitties arrived at the hotel. He found a DEA agent that was on the island and had him waiting at the hotel as well. I didn't really read anything else about this DEA agent, so I don't know if he was just like, they wrangled him, but then he wasn't really needed.
Yeah.
Taco must be out of the room, huh? So, at this point, all they really knew was that Natalee had been seen the night before at a bar called Carlos and Charlie's. She had been talking...
That's very repetitive.
Yeah. She had been talking and dancing with a tall Dutch teenage boy, and at about 1 or 1:30 when the bar closed, she was seen leaving in a car with him. Her friend said that she was laughing and waving and didn't seem to be in distress, and they assumed that she was just getting a ride back to the hotel with this guy and his 2 friends. So Jug's nephew, who I guess was also on this trip, said that he had played poker the day before with this guy because there was also a lot of gambling that happened on this trip, and on the island in general there's a bunch of casinos, and he thought that the guy's name was Joran.
Mm-hmm.
So Beth walks over to a hotel employee and describes this guy, and the lady tells her, "Oh yeah, that's Joran Sloot. He tends to prey upon young female tourists."
Cool.
Which, I mean, that's exactly what you want to hear.
That's how you want to be described.
Right? So the casino manager pulls footage from the day before so that they know what this person looks like, and the police agree to take the Twitties to the Vandersloot home. It's literally the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And Joran's father, Paulus, comes out and calls Joran and tells him he needs to come home. Paulus, by the way, was a lawyer training for a judgeship on the island. So they're asking Joran if he knows where Natalee is, and he claims to not even know who she is. He doesn't even know her name.
Yeah.
Doesn't know anything about her. And they're like, "Look, we know she got in the car with you. We have people who saw you together.
We're not dumb."
And so he finally relents, and he says he met her on Sunday in the Holiday Inn casino, and she asked him to meet her at Carlos and Charlie's. And he says that at first he said no because it would be dead on a Sunday night, but at 11 p.m., he and his friends, brothers Deepak and Satish Kalpo, he called them to come pick him up, and he snuck out of the house to go meet her. And this is foul, but this is a quote from him. Quote, "She came on to me huge, dancing suggestively like a slut. I did belly shots on her on the bar." And then he claims that she asked him to give her a ride back to the hotel, and so they got into Deepak's silver Nissan, and he claims Natalee asked him, quote, "What are these guys, your slaves?"
Okay.
And he says that they dropped her off at the front door of the Holiday Inn. She got out of the car and fell down and hit her head, but she was fine. And she got up and she walked inside the hotel, and he never saw her again. And the security guard that he knows actually helped her into the hotel.
Oh, okay.
And then he changes his story and says that they got back to the before they got back to the hotel, that Natalee begged them to take her to the beach so that she could see the sharks. And that she told him that her mother was like Hitler, that she was a virgin, and that she was a lesbian. But then he says that she begged him to have sex with her. Like, if she's a lesbian, she doesn't want to.
Yeah.
So, probably not. But he claims that if they went to the hotel, like back to the Holiday Inn, that he could point out the security guard that helped her into the hotel when they dropped her off and she hit her head and all that stuff. And so they go to the hotel, and guess what?
What?
Joran can't find the security guard.
What?
In fact, he never finds the security guard.
What?
And hotel security camera footage never shows Natalee being dropped off at the front door.
What?
I know. I mean, there must have been a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
So, on June 1st, the first search teams gather to start looking for Natalee. And the police have not yet declared her missing, but also told Beth the thing all parents love to hear when their child is missing. She'll turn up.
Yeah.
She's probably just partying somewhere. Or...
She's 18.
Or, you know what? She probably ran off with some guy. And she'll be back in a few days. And they...
Back when she runs out of money.
Yeah. The police superintendent told the search group leader, a woman named Julia Renfro, to just go to ladies' night at Carlos and Charlie's that night because she'd probably show up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, Natalee did not show up at ladies' night.
No, I didn't think she would.
Yeah. He also told them not to cause any traffic problems during their search for this missing teenager. So, okay. So for the next 2 weeks, search groups met. Originally, it was like 100 tourists and locals, and then expanded to a volunteer team from Texas, the Aruban police, finally. The Dutch Marines supplied the groups with helicopters and ATVs, and 3 F-16 fighter planes from the Netherlands equipped with heat detection equipment, but they still have found no sign of Natalee.
You have a really obnoxious fly in your room.
That fly is, like, gigantic.
And I have, like, the same kind of fly in my room that was, like, being really slow and annoying.
It would be helpful if the lizard would eat it.
I don't know why she won't. I don't know why she doesn't just, like, leap in the air and eat the fly. But
she does so much leaping.
She does. But, oh my god, that fly is driving me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, this one is. Okay. Well, in the midst of the searches, this schism is growing between the Holloways and the Aruban police. Because the Holloways, but, like, maybe mostly the Twitties, believed that the police were not doing as much as they could to find Natalee and arrest the people who knew what happened to her. And the police found the Americans to be pushy and brash and unwilling to understand how the justice system worked in their country.
Americans? Really?
I know, right? Right. Yeah. I know.
We're not known for any of those things.
No. And because Beth was desperate and she felt that the police weren't listening or helping, she called the American media. And immediately news of the war in Afghanistan and the Iraq War were wiped off of the air and replaced with news of a missing American teenager in Aruba. And it did not hurt that she was pretty and blonde. And it didn't hurt that Beth was blonde and attractive. And so it's like that white woman syndrome for the news. And the media ate it up. And the world consumed the latest developments and theories in the case every single day. And by the Friday after Natalee's disappearance, MSNBC had shown up on the island. A Current Affair was there. Greta Van Susteren from Fox News all but moved her show to the island. And this case is actually what introduced the world to former prosecutor Nancy Grace.
Yeah. I was researching another case that I've known about for a while the other day. And it's the same sort of issue because it happened at the same time. Oh god, and now I can't think of what her name is. The girl who got killed by her fiance at, like, Arches or whatever.
Oh, the Gabby Petito.
Yeah, that one. It happened at, like, the same time as Gabby Petito, and since Gabby Petito was white and blonde, then hers got a lot more coverage than this girl who happens to be Asian.
Right.
And
yeah.
But even Gabby Petito's dad was just like, thank you for looking for my daughter, but other people also need your attention.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and there were other girls that went missing at this time that received no coverage.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can't go back and change it. So, on June 5th, the police arrested some former security guards of a hotel that had been closed for renovations, but they were released fairly quickly. They also arrested Paulus Vandersloot and a party boat DJ, believing that Paulus had paid the DJ to dispose of Natalee's body. Remember, Paulus was Joran's dad. Beth began giving interviews and hinting that the government was covering up for Joran because of Paulus's position on the island, being a lawyer training for a judgeship. Mm-hmm. And additionally, Paulus and the police commissioner at the time, Jan van der Straten, were best friends, and he was even rumored to be Joran's godfather. Mm-hmm. And also, van der Straten stepped down as commissioner, seemingly out of the blue when all of this started coming to light.
Yeah.
So with pressure mounting from all of the media attention, on June 9th, the police arrested Joran van der Sloot and his friends Satish and Deepak Kalpoe. Satish and Deepak started telling a news story about the night Natalee disappeared. The brothers are now claiming that they dropped Natalee and Joran off at the beach near a fisherman's hut near the Holiday Inn, and Joran is now claiming that he was ready to go home, but Natalee insisted on staying on the beach, and as he was walking away from her, he saw a man approaching her on the beach, and that was the last time he saw her. Fishermen who were there fishing until 4:30 a.m. claimed that none of that ever happened. Mm-hmm. The Kalpoe brothers were released from jail on July 4th, but police decided to hold Joran for another 60 days. A couple of weeks later, on July 17th, a piece of duct tape with blonde hair stuck to it were found on the northeast coast of the island and sent to Quantico for testing, but the hairs turned out to not be Natalee's.
Yeah.
A tip had been called in from someone on the island claiming that they saw Joran and the Kalpoe brothers digging next to the Marriott Hotel. Police searched and even drained the nearby pond, but didn't find any evidence that Natalee had ever been there. So, on September 3rd, Joran was released from jail with the understanding that he make himself available if police needed to speak to him. And after he was released from jail, he moved to the Netherlands to enroll in college. And he had initially planned to go to the university in Florida, mm-hmm. but I guess with all of this, that he decided not to do that. On March 2006, Fox News played a 3-part interview between Greta von Susteren and Joran van der Sloot, where he was basically like, I said these things, but I didn't mean these things, and I totally lied, and, you shouldn't believe anything that I say, and, it was ridiculous. And then in December 2006, the Holloways and the Twitties filed a wrongful death suit against the Kalpoe brothers in a Los Angeles Superior Court. I don't know why Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But it was dismissed because the crime had occurred out of the jurisdiction of the court.
Yeah.
And in November of 2007, because this went on forever, all 3 boys, or I guess they're men now, were arrested again, but only held for a couple of weeks before being released again. And it's a very different system than in the United States, because our prosecutors would never let the police arrest somebody without some kind of evidence that they could hold them with for an extended time in jail. I guess the Dutch system or Aruban system or whatever you want to call it, you can arrest somebody and hold them without cause for however long you want to. Mm-hmm. On December 30th, equipment on a search vessel and remote operated vehicle showed pictures of what looked to be a human skull in a fish trap. It was investigated, but they didn't actually find anything in the trap, and that just reminded me of all of the times on Oak Island.
Yeah.
When they're like, this is shaped like a thing, and then they dig, and they don't find the thing.
Yeah. There's some sort of important thing-shaped anomaly. Let's dig it up. And
or that looked gold, and then they can't find anything that looked gold. Yeah. So then there's this bizarre story from January 2008. So Joran returned to the Netherlands, presumably to continue school, and a Dutch crime reporter named Peter de Vries claimed that he had an admission by Joran on tape that he was there when Natalee died. A man named Patrick van der Eem, who worked for de Vries, went undercover and befriended Joran and secretly videotaped a conversation with him, which I did watch this. Mm-hmm. And Peter de Vries aired this on February 3rd, 2008, and it was watched by 7 million viewers in the Netherlands, making it the most popular non-sports program in Dutch television history.
All right.
In this video, Joran claims that he and Natalee were having sex on the beach when Natalee started seizing. He claimed that he called a friend who helped him load her on a boat and dumped her body in the ocean. And he's such a jerk because he's just like, I don't feel bad about leaving her at all. Mm-hmm. Or I don't feel bad about it. Why? It wasn't my responsibility. I don't care.
People that take no accountability for...
Yeah. And then later he claims that he had been lying to impress his new friend.
Oh.
and the Aruban
That's what I want to lie about.
Right.
To impress people, I'm like, guess what? Totally murdered this chick.
I killed her. And I dumped her body in the ocean.
Totally.
Isn't that cool?
Aren't you impressed?
Don't you want to be my best friend? Yeah, no. Aruban prosecutors did not feel that this video was sufficient evidence to rearrest him.
Okie dokie.
I do, but I'm not an Aruban prosecutor, so. Joran's mother convinced him to check into a psychiatric facility, but then he, I guess, decided to go to Thailand instead.
Yeah, that's the natural order of events.
That's usually where I go when I don't want to go to psychiatric facilities. Or anywhere.
When I don't want to go to therapy, I'm just like, I'm going to go to Thailand.
Yeah. He enrolled in Rangsit University, but soon dropped out and bought a restaurant.
Again, the natural order of events.
Yes. I mean, it's what just regular people do.
Yeah.
Yes. In November 2008, old Mr. DeVries aired footage of our dear friend Joran being a sex trafficker.
Groovy. I
did not watch this footage, but apparently it is Joran using the alias Murphy Jenkins.
Okay.
I was like, that sounds like something we would call ourselves.
Right.
Doing something. But he's Murphy Jenkins. Is that a common Dutch name? I mean, he has a Dutch accent. He's making plans in this footage to sell women from Bangkok to Europeans. And he was allegedly making $13,000 for every woman he sold.
Again, I shall say groovy.
He was doing the real icky thing where he would claim to work for like a modeling agency and was promising to send these women to Europe to work as models.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is a theory that he could have trafficked Natalee. In fact, in November 2008, Joran did another interview with Fox News. I don't know why Fox News. I guess because they're the only ones that would give him time.
Yes.
Where he actually said out loud on television that he sold Natalee into sexual slavery. And that his father knew and paid off the police when they found out about it.
Yeah.
But in true Joran fashion, he later said he only made that story up.
JK.
I'm just trying to impress you.
Aren't you impressed?
Don't you want to be best friends? So he also became a self-proclaimed professional poker player. I don't know if he was actually a professional poker player or just a gambling addict.
Yeah.
In February 2010, Paulus van der Sloot, Joran's father, had a sudden heart attack while playing tennis and died. Joran sold his restaurant and moved back to Aruba. And it is said that Joran started spiraling out of control at this point. Which I was like, what part of any of that was good up to this point? Mm-hmm. I personally think that if he did spiral out of control, it's just because Daddy wasn't there to bail him out anymore.
Yeah. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yes. And without Papa's money, Joran decides on a get-rich-quick scheme. Extortion. As one does.
As one does.
So he contacts Beth Twitty's lawyer, a man named John Q. Kelly, and tells him that he'll tell them what really happened to Natalee and where she is if they give him the $250,000 in reward money.
Have you seen that just... It's not funny, but it just reminded me. Have you seen... I think it might be an Indeed commercial.
No.
Where...
I don't watch TV anymore.
True. Well, they're all about, needing a job, right? Because it's Indeed. And this guy calls some old lady and he's like, I'm your child and I've been kidnapped and I need X amount of money. And she's like, why are you scamming me? And she's like telling him to go to Indeed and get a real job. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, thank you, mommy. Oh, she asked him why he's scamming her and he's like, I want to go to Vegas.
Oh. Okay.
In like his regular voice, he's like, I wanted to go on a trip to Vegas, and she was like, get on Indeed and get a real job, and he's like, okay, thank you, mommy.
Well, I had that one scam call that one time where it was like kidnappers that had my child, and then they had a girl crying on the one end, and I was just like, I don't even have a daughter.
I don't have a girl child, okay?
But all right, wrong person,
wrong number.
So, anyway, he's trying to extort reward money. Sometimes I wonder, like, can the bad guy get the reward money? I mean, it always says, like, for information leading to or whatever. Like, I mean, if you give them the information, do you get the money? But anyway, he wanted a $25,000 advance. So Kelly went directly to the FBI with this, and they set up a sting operation with the Aruban authorities. And Kelly went to Aruba and met with Joran and handed him $10,000 in cash, which was videoed by the police. And then he wired an additional $15,000 to his account in the Netherlands. And Joran tells Kelly that he and Natalee had gone to the beach, but that she tried to leave, and he threw her on the ground, and she hit her head. And he went home, and he told his father what he did, and that Paulus went back to the beach with him and took her and buried Natalee in the foundation of a house. And then Joran takes Kelly and shows him the house. So he takes his $25,000 and he runs away to Peru to play in the Latin American poker tour. Once in Peru, he emails Beth and tells her he lied. And the authorities also determined that the story wasn't true, at least not about that particular house, because it hadn't even been built yet when Natalee disappeared.
Insert wow sound effect.
Yeah.
Because...
But, like...
he's just kidding. He just made this up.
But,
oh my gosh.
What's his fate? Owen Wilson's wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, anyway.
I was thinking about, like, the anime one, but...
I don't know that one.
But, yeah.
But all the people love Owen Wilson. So, on May 30th, on the 5th anniversary of Natalee Holloway's disappearance, Joran struck again. This time, he killed 21-year-old Stephanie Tatiana Flores Ramirez. Stephanie was a student at the University of Lima 1 year away from graduation. Her body was found in Joran's hotel room in Lima, Peru on June 2nd. She had been beaten to death by a tennis racket that was still in the room. Her car had been found in a dangerous part of the city about 50 blocks from the hotel. There were date rape drugs in the car, but her money and identification and jewelry and credit cards and everything were missing. And it is believed that Joran dropped her car there to make it look like something had happened to her in a bad part of town. However, video footage from the Atlantic City Casino in Lima, as well as surveillance footage from Joran's hotel, shows the two playing poker together and then entering his room together. But by the time they found Stephanie, Joran was gone. He hired brothers who ran a taxi service to take him south. They didn't know that he was running, and he told them he had money, which he did not. And so they agreed to drive him. He was arrested on June 3rd near... I forgot to look this one up. Curacaví.
Sure.
I didn't hear this part of the story in the other podcast I listened to, but on Wikipedia, apparently his first story, before he confessed to killing Stephanie, was that armed robbers were hiding in his room and killed her when she wouldn't be quiet. Just hiding out in his room.
If they're armed robbers, why would they resort to beating her to death with a tennis racket?
Maybe they were armed with tennis rackets.
I wouldn't really call that armed robbers then, if they just had tennis rackets. I mean, obviously you can kill someone with a tennis racket, but...
I need you to know that although he thinks he's the smartest person in the room, he is not.
No?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. He did eventually admit to killing Stephanie. His story was that he left to get coffee, and when he came back, Stephanie was on his computer, and it seems like either she searched and found out that he was linked to Natalee's disappearance, or she had found something on his computer and then confronted him with the information. He is quoted as saying, "I did not want to do it. The girl intruded into my private life. She didn't have any right. I went to her and I hit her. She was scared. We argued and she tried to escape. I grabbed her by the... I wrote this down wrong. I grabbed her by the neck and hit her, maybe. I wrote the wrong word. On January 11th, 2012, he was convicted of murder and robbery and sentenced to 28 years in prison in a maximum security prison in Peru.
Mm-hmm.
Only 28 years.
Well, I know a lot of places don't give life sentences. They only give about 25 years.
And I think they really believe in, like, rehabilitation and...
Because I think, like, in the UK and stuff, they do, like, a 25-year sentence. It's not, like, a life sentence.
I think I read that, like, you can, unless you get a life sentence, you can only serve up to 35 years or something. I don't know. But in the meantime, in the United States, on June 27th, 2010, Joran was indicted for wire fraud and extortion. He did admit to this in an interview published September 6th, 2010, claiming, quote, "I wanted to get back at Natalee's family. Her parents have been making my life tough for 5 years."
Yeah, they made your life tough.
It's a poor baby, actually.
Yeah.
Is what that sounds like.
Just, once again, you're the bad guy for punishing somebody for doing something wrong.
Yes. Mm-hmm. On January 12th, 2012, Dave Holloway requested that a judge declare Natalee legally dead. And Beth did not agree to this because she, of course, wanted to believe that Natalee was probably maybe still alive out there somewhere.
As they all do.
But a judge did grant his request and declared Natalee legally dead. In August 2017, Oxygen True Crime aired the docuseries The Disappearance of Natalee Holloway. This is the one I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. This was a 6-part series, and I'll tell you what happened so that you don't have to put yourself through it, because it is pitiful. So what happened was that this man named Gabriel calls Dave Holloway and tells him that he has a roommate named John Ludwig who claims that in 2010, Joran Sloot paid him $1,500 to dig up Natalee's remains and cremate them. I was like, $1,500 doesn't seem a lot to do that
but I
job.
guess it's how desperate you are.
Yeah. So first it shows this Gabriel guy meeting with Dave and telling him the story that Ludwig told him. And the Holloways have this private investigator on retainer that's been working with them like for all of these years. Mm-hmm. And he was involved in this whole process on the show. And so they set up a trip to New Orleans for this Gabriel guy and John Ludwig to try to get him to confess to this on camera, because in Louisiana, it's one of those like one-party states where only one person has to know that the recording is happening. In the hotel, Ludwig tells Gabriel how he and Joran used to go out in Aruba and roofie girls.
Yeah.
Because apparently some bartenders would roofie a drink for you if you paid them an extra $25.
Well, there you go.
So there's a side hustle if you were looking for one.
If you just need some money.
Yeah.
There's an option for you.
Yeah. I can't remember if this was like part of... I can't remember. Anyway, if this particular recording was on like from this hotel, or if it was just something that Dave Holloway found online, because it did show him like finding videos of this guy online. Mm-hmm. But Ludwig is talking about how Joran watched the Lifetime movie with him about Natalee Holloway and was telling him what was true and what wasn't.
Yeah.
And Ludwig's story is that Joran and Natalee were kissing on the beach, and she started foaming at the mouth and choked on her own vomit. But he didn't want to get caught because he had roofied her. Mm-hmm. And so he called his dad, who brought a burlap sack, and then broke Natalee's bones so that she would fit into the sack, and then buried her under a cactus in the national forest. Which, fun fact, it's not a forest of trees. It is a desert of cactuses. Mm-hmm. And apparently Aruba is not palm trees. It's like a desert with cactuses.
I googled Aruba and it showed me palm trees.
Well, apparently the palm trees that you see were planted.
But I mean, they still have palm trees.
They have palm trees, but they're not native to the island. So a lot of what you see about them, like going and looking for her, it's a desert with cactuses. It's really weird. I didn't expect to see that.
Yeah. Because, water.
Water, yeah. Either way, they get Ludwig to tell Gabriel that he knows where Natalee was buried in Aruba and that he could find it. And they do talk to like an FBI forensic guy who says, if Natalee had been buried there for any amount of time, that there should still be traces of, her there.
Yeah.
Even if it was like decomposition material or whatever, that it should still be there because of the climate. And so they arrange for Miguel and Ludwig to go to Aruba, and he claims to find the spot, but of course the GPS tracker that they send with this guy goes dead. And so they kind of go to the spot, but the cadaver dog that they bring doesn't find anything that indicates that a body had been there. Then Ludwig meets with the private investigator, and so the whole reason he had ever been on the island was, I guess, his aunt owned property on the island, and he went to stay there to take care of her property.
Okay.
And that wherever Natalee had been buried, as far as the story goes, it was like a 10-minute walk from his aunt's house. So they go to his aunt's house in Aruba, and he says that he actually buried evidence there, and he pulls up a baggie that has bones in it that he had buried in the backyard. But after some testing, they were not Natalee's. And I don't really know where they came from. I don't think that ever gets answered. Some of them weren't even human. I think some of them were dog bones. But that also kind of goes with part of the story that he told, was that Joran had put, I guess their dog had died, and he put the dog in the burlap sack with Natalee's remains, and then told this Ludwig guy to go to this crematorium after hours, because he knew the guy who ran it, and to tell him that it was his family dog that he wanted to have cremated so that the guy wouldn't ask any questions. So I don't know.
No, I don't know.
But either way, the bones were not Natalee's. And long story short, this lead that this entire series was made out of went absolutely nowhere.
You gotta love a good TV series that literally goes nowhere.
Like that one where the guy was like related to Jack the Ripper or something. Like
that went nowhere.
Yeah. Was it Jack the Ripper?
Yeah, we also watched one where...
The Bell Witch.
Yeah, where he was married to the not married, related to the family that experienced the Bell Witch thing.
Yeah. And
that didn't go anywhere.
No.
And
I live and breathe Oak Island, and that never goes
nowhere. Yes, so, they occasionally find an interesting thing, but nothing mind-blowing.
And I watch it every time it comes on. I'm like, show me the Bobby Dazzler.
Show me the handmade nail that you found.
Every single time. And they're always like, this is great. And I'm like, it's just another nail.
Another nail.
Anyway. So Beth did sue the network, claiming that it was fictional farce and that they gave the family false hope. And I do admit, the parts where this Gabriel is talking to them does seem fake. Ludwig was actually friends with Joran. That was true for a time. But whether he helped him dispose of Natalee or not, no one's ever going to know, because on March 15th, 2018, he was stabbed to death by a woman he was attempting to kidnap in Florida.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Joran needs to pick better friends.
And make better choices in general.
Back in Peru, Joran was living his best prison life, because apparently this prison was pretty chill. And they let visitors come in, and vendors and stuff come in. You could just wear street clothes in this prison.
What is it like Swedish prisons or something like that? Or Swiss prisons
are nicer than our house.
Yeah.
So he meets and gets married to a Peruvian girl who births his daughter. And then he also gets a girlfriend on the side that he allegedly tricks into smuggling drugs into the prison for him.
Yeah.
She was interviewed on the one that was called Pathological. I want to say the wife and the girlfriend were both on there. But the girlfriend's story is that he had, a package delivered to her house that he told her was groceries that he needed her to bring to the prison. And when she took them to the prison and they went through them, they found drugs.
Yeah.
And so then she got arrested, or was a warrant out for her arrest because of smuggling drugs into a prison.
Right.
And that she was currently in hiding from the police because of this. So I don't know if she was actually in on it or not.
Well.
Either way, the trafficking ring that he started earned him an extra 18 years in prison. And in 2023, his wife divorced him. I hope she took that baby and she ran so far away.
Far away.
In May 2023, Peru finally agreed to extradite Joran to the United States to face his charges for extortion and wire fraud. He initially pled not guilty, but on October 18th, 2023, Joran entered a plea deal. He pled guilty to the wire fraud and extortion and confessed to the murder of Natalee Holloway. In this confession, he claimed that they laid down in the sand and were kissing, and he started touching her, and she told him no. And he kept touching her, so she kneed him in the crotch. And he stood up and he kicked her in the face. And he claims he kicked her so hard that he didn't know if she was already dead or just knocked unconscious. He found a cinder block on the beach and he hit her in the face with the cinder block. He said he carried her out into the water until he was about knee-high in the water, and he pushed her into the sea and he walked home. However, the statute of limitations on murder in Aruba is only 12 years, so it is unlikely that he will ever face charges for her murder, but Aruban officials have stated that they will keep her case open. Mm-hmm. The Holloways felt some sense of closure over this confession, even though no one really believes it 100%. Yeah. For instance, even though Joran is a cool 6'5", and knee deep on him is probably like boob deep on me. So
boob deep.
Boob deep. That doesn't seem far enough or deep enough for a body to be carried out to sea.
Yeah.
Additionally, even with the tide, it seems unlikely that the cinder block that he claims to have hit her with would be gone. Mm-hmm. And if he did smash her in the head, as he claimed, there should have been some like brain matter or blood or something left behind on the beach that someone could have found or would have found. There are many theories about what could have actually happened, including Paulus's involvement in the crime. Early on, the Calpo brothers claimed that Paulus basically told them, no body, no crime. Mm-hmm. And I think it's likely that he could have helped Joran dispose of Natalee. There's a story about them going out to look at sharks. Yeah. And so maybe that's where he disposed of her.
Yeah.
Regardless, at the end of the day, Joran van der Sloot was responsible for her death and the death of Stephanie Flores, all by the ripe old age of 22.
Yeah.
And he will be in prison until at least 2045. Unfortunately, he will only be 58 and still be able to live a good while outside of prison. But fortunately, we all know he's a creep, and hopefully everybody will just stay away from him.
I mean, obviously people don't, because people were having babies with him while he was in prison.
Yeah. So. I know, because he had, like, convinced this girl that, like, he gave his life to God, and he was sorry that he did it, and he's a different person now. Like, he is never a different person. He's a crazy person.
He's a creep.
Yeah. And I think, like, some of the things that make me sad about this, other than, like, the murders.
Other than the sad parts.
The sad parts is that so much of the story got lost to, like, this creep and the media. There was so much that was reported that was, like, victim-blamey about how Natalee was drinking and partying and went off with this boy and the danger she put herself in. Mm-hmm. And then there was the media that was focusing on the feuds that were going on between the family and the police. And, you know, it just became like a reality show that we as Americans all ate up. Mm-hmm. And I think the story of...
We love some good tea.
Right. But, like, Stephanie Flores in Peru, I think her story got overshadowed just by the fact that the guy who killed her was the person responsible for Natalee Holloway. Mm-hmm. And so her story was already so big that it just, like, overshadowed anything about that poor girl.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was just too much time given to a monster who was just playing games with literally everybody because he liked the attention. Mm-hmm. But that is the story of Natalee Holloway. And one big old creep. Like, literally big old creep.
Yeah. A very tall creep.
Yes. I know. I saw a video of the police, like, leading Kim into the United States for his wire fraud charges. And he's just, like, towering over everybody. He's really tall.
Well, and they're not from the exact same place, but, like, the Skarsgårds.
Oh, yeah.
Are all, like, really tall people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they're all Vikings.
Or Sarsgaard.
Skarsgård? I think it's got a K in it.
Okay.
I think.
I always get their last name confused with that one guy from the Skeleton Key.
Oh, yeah. I think his is Sarsgaard.
And also
because I think it's Peter Sarsgaard and then all of the Skarsgårds.
Stellan and Bill and whatever the other one's name is.
Hold on, I'm going to look it up because now Skarsgård brothers. Bill, Gustav, Walter, Sam, Ossian. Apparently there's a whole bunch of them that we didn't even know about. Which one was the it guy?
That was Bill. But who was the
one? It was
one?
Alexander.
The one that was in True Blood.
That one must have been Alexander.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah. And then Peter Sarsgaard. Is that the guy that's in Skeleton Key?
And then Stellan Skarsgård is their dad.
Yeah. And he's
the Doctor in Thor.
No.
Yes.
I mean, yes, but he's
Bootstrap Bill.
Yes. That's who I was going for. Yes. All right. Well,
if anybody can write in and tell me the size of a newborn's head,
it's for research purposes only.
I'm trying to make a hat. And I don't have a newborn's head that I can measure. And the internet gives several answers.
So if you have a newborn baby, could you
measure their head and let me know about how big a newborn's head is?
Oh my gosh.
Because I need to know for science.
For science.
For yarn science.
Mm-hmm. Nothing creepy at all.
Nope.
All right. Well, while you're at it, you can find us on social media at Twisted and Mysterious, or you can email us at twistedandmysteriouspodcast@gmail.com
with the information about baby heads.
With the information about baby heads and those weird lights that we saw in the sky that we talked about last time.
Yeah.
And any other thing that you need to tell us.
Tell us about all the cryptids you've seen.
Yeah, tell us about those. It was probably fake. You know what I hate about the world right now? Mm-hmm. Other than everything, is
all of the things.
That there's so many fake things on the internet, and I hate all the fake things on the internet where you can't tell if, is this video real or is it rage bait or is this video real or whatever. And so there was one where
there's just so much AI crap that goes around, and it's just I just want to know what the true things are.
Right. And so this was a girl listening to a 911 recording of somebody who had seen a cryptid. And he said he was driving down the road, and I guess he was out in the middle of nowhere kind of thing. And he saw somebody standing by the side of the road that had blood on them. Mm-hmm. And so he's telling the dispatcher, I saw this guy, he's covered in blood, this is where I'm at, but I'm out in the middle of nowhere, I'm not stopping. And then he screams, and he's like, it's not human, it's in the back of my truck. And the dispatcher is like, it's in the back of your truck, what is it? And he was like, I don't know, I turned on my bed lights and I can see that there's something in the back of my truck. And then he slams on his brakes, presumably, and it flies over his hood, and then it's in the middle of the road, and then it runs off into the tree line. And I'm just like, if that was real, creep fest.
Yeah.
But it's also the internet in 2025.
But it's just like when I saw the tentacled rabbits.
Oh, I hate those.
I was like...
I finally forgot about them.
Oh, I've never forgotten about them. The image just burned into my head.
I finally stopped thinking about them all day, every day. So thank you.
You're welcome. I was just like, is this fake? Oh my God. And so I had to Google it to find out whether it was a real thing or not. And then it was a real thing. And I was like, how is this a real thing? If you don't know about the rabbits with tentacle horns... Well, she says don't look them up. They look like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It's so bad.
And I feel so sorry for these rabbits.
So don't look them up.
But, if you want to look them up, look them up.
Don't.
Otherwise, don't look them up.
Don't, because you will never, ever not see them.
Like I said, I think about them all the time. She somehow managed to put them out of her head for a temporary amount of time.
Goodness for ADHD.
I also have ADHD, and it makes me hyper-focus on things.
Well, I did for a while, and then now my news is going to show it to me again, because we started talking about it, because I finally got to a point where my news feed didn't show it to me every time I scrolled through. Oh my god, I hate those rabbits.
You can't hate the rabbits.
I don't hate the rabbits. I hate that the internet keeps showing me the rabbits.
Like, it's not the rabbits' fault they're growing tentacles out of their faces.
But it's so bad. It's so pitiful. It's so bad. I hate it. Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
So, social media, blah, blah, blah. We already said that.
I hate fake stuff.
And we hate fake stuff.
And I think that's everything.
That, I think, is everything. So, write in and tell us about your experiences with tentacled rabbits and walking sweatpants.
And apparently things that look like people covered in blood, but then are not.
Yeah.
All right.
So, as always, remember that people are gross. So gross. And don't get murdered.
Yep. Not anywhere.
Anywhere. Not in any part of the water.
Or the beach. Or the land.
The desert. Or anywhere.
Or your house.
Just don't get murdered.
Nope. Okay, bye.
Bye.